Welcome into the doors of psychic experience and star people. Thank you for tuning in. Ask and you will be given what you asked for. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. For everyone who asks receives. Anyone who seeks finds. If only you will knock, the door will open, and the truth within your higher self will be revealed to you. Come with us now and go with us where angels come and so can you.
Welcome to our show, Psychic Experience at Star People. Thank you for tuning in. This is show number 126, being presented by the First Spiritual Church in the City Heights area of San Diego, 1 block south of University Avenue. We're known as a church where angels come and so can you. I am Reverend Doris Horvath, the co-producer and host. The contents of this show are metaphysical and spiritual and educational. If you're looking for a church that has unusual vibrations, the First Spiritual Church has a very different way of answering your questions. We have a different approach to religion. We believe in life after death, continuation and communication with spirit, and life after death. Our church is also a healing church and teaching church. Every Sunday morning we offer aura healing, spiritual music, and interesting and enlightening lectures, followed by spiritual psychic messages. In the afternoon we have delicious lunches, workshops, classes, and more. If you are looking for something different, that may be what you should investigate is our church, the First Spiritual Church in City Heights. We also have a children's lyceum for small children the first Sunday of every month, taught by one of our reverends. She's actually assistant pastor, Reverend Lorena Pyle. Now we have guests on our show that are metaphysical, spiritual, and also a lot of them are star people. Well, I look at astrology as a star person. I've invited for this show to have Linda Berry, who is one of San Diego's most well-known astrologers. I would like to tell you a little bit about Linda. I'm going to give her a chance to say hello to the audience before I read her bio. Just say hello.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Reverend Doris. Thanks for inviting me to the show.
All right. Well, I'm happy to have you here. I want to tell you a little bit now about Linda. She's owner, trainer, and consultant at the Spiritual Discovery Center in La Mesa, California. She's also a professional practicing astrologer. Linda offers astrological services that specialize in modern Western astrology as well as spiritual astrology, highlighting karmic insight and shamanic healing. She offers birth charts, relationship consultation, and Synastry and chart interpretation, special eclipse packages, and customized services such as life path, business finances, relocation, medical, and children baby analysis. Linda also offers one-on-one personal training programs for basic astrology, intermediate astrology, and spiritual astrology, numerology, palmistry, tarot, as well as native Indian and shamanic studies, past life regression, psychic mediumship, chakras and crystals, and the paranormal at her Spiritual Discovery Training Center. A dynamic and sought-after public speaker, Linda has been a presenter at meetings, workshops, seminars, and conferences around the country and has appeared on both radio and television. People from all over the world join Linda Berry for her blog talk radio show on the first Saturday of each month as she presents her Spiritual Discovery radio show covering different topics in the spiritual, metaphysical, holistic, and paranormal fields, with listeners calling in for discussion. Questions are answered, and cosmic mini-readings are done. Being an internationally known professional spiritual astrologer, also known as a Zodiac Yoda, she offers full moon and new moon reports on her Lunar News radio show, where she discusses current moon astrological information as well as cultural lore and symbolism. Linda also has a YouTube channel to help support her popular radio show, which offers insightful and educational videos covering various hot topics and highlights some of the special guests on her blog talk radio show. Now, Linda and I are going to be talking a little bit here about astrology for the rest of the show. And I'm going to be asking her some questions so those of you in the audience will get an idea of where she's coming from. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the Uranus transit in Aries. The large planet Uranus went into Aries March the 12th, 2011, where it will be for 7 to 8 years, to May of 2018. It was in Aries last summer from May 27th to August 13th. The last time Uranus was in Aries was late 1920s. It takes 84 years for Uranus to go around the whole zodiac, or maybe the sun. Now, Linda, what are the most interesting facts about the sign of Aries that you can tell us?
Well, Reverend Doris, that was a lot of information you just gave your viewers on the planet of Uranus. And like you had mentioned, in the 1920s, the late 1920s was the last time Uranus was in Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Mm-hmm. It's ruled by the planet of Mars, which I always like to describe as a little engine that has to go, go, go. So that's the ruling planet of this sign. So there's a lot of energy involved. This sign of Aries represents the ego, assertiveness. It's the sign of survival. It's the sign of war because of Mars ruling it. So there's a lot going on with this first sign of the zodiac. We come into our human existence and we start off with Aries and we work around the entire zodiac until we get to Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, of which we'll talk about a little later in the show. So that's a little bit of insightful information for this sign, for those of you who are just learning about astrology.
What are the most interesting facts about the planet of Uranus?
Well, the planet of Uranus is the first of the outside planets in our zodiac, in our solar system. We have Uranus, we have Neptune, and then we have Pluto. The first 7 go from Mercury all the way to Saturn. Of course, we include the sun and the moon in astrology, even though they're not planets, but we include that in there. And then we have the last 3. So Uranus is basically the rebel planet. At least that's what I like to refer to it as. And it represents technology. It rules the sign of Aquarius, at least in modern astrology. And it's also the humanitarian planet. So that's a little bit of information on that planet. We get both of them together.
Okay, what is the cosmic energy created from the planet Uranus when it's transiting into the sun sign of Aries?
Well, you get this faraway planet. Now, the 3 faraway planets that I mentioned actually refer to how we are on the inside, things that we're working on our inner person. The personal planets are those first 7. So you get Uranus into the sign of Aries. We have the rebel planet, a lot of spiritual energy there, but more in the scientific, the technology area, and you put it into the sign of pumped up energy. That's what we're all going to be feeling, not just people who have planets in Aries, which this Uranus will be transiting over. But people all over the world are going to feel this energy, and it's going to affect us in the way of starting things new. New beginnings. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's new beginnings. Lots of energy, lots of push. In fact, things that we have put on the back burner that we didn't want to think about are going to come to the forefront, and we're going to be pushed to start doing them. And we're going to have the energy to do it because Uranus is in the sign of Aries with Mars and all that push. So we're all going to feel that, not just people who have planets in Aries, but everybody. This is a very big transiting planet, and whenever these faraway planets that move very slow, as you mentioned earlier, 84 years to go around the zodiac, which means around our entire solar system, this is a very monumental energy shift going from Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, to the first sign. We're starting an entire new cycle. And it happened on March 12th, which is very close to the Japanese earthquake that happened that particular day, right at that same time. And that energy was very instrumental on what was hitting the earth at the time to give us that push for that type of energy.
Now, what should be expected from this cosmic energy? What would happen?
Well, we kind of seen a little preview on what I was just mentioning with Uranus going into Aries and what happened here on the earth physically. We're all going to have kind of physical feelings of that sort. We're going to be restless. We're going to, for those of you who have Aries planets or planets in fire signs like Sagittarius or Leo, going to have a lot of built up energy. You're going to want to release it. So I would suggest activities, physical activities like sports or dancing or doing more things and getting out and about. That's a great way to use this energy to the positive. Because to the negative, things can build up where there can be anger or actual arguments. And you have to be careful to let those things kind of float by, kind of let it float by. Be very careful if you're communicating with other people. Don't take things personally at this time. And we have this energy for 7 years as it's transiting through Aries. So it's not like I'm talking about a few weeks or a few months. We're talking about a few years here. And as you mentioned earlier, we had a taste of it last summer for a few months. So think back at what was going on in your life last summer. What things were happening? What type of energy boost did you have? Because that's the type of energy we're going to have for the next 7 years.
Now, you brought a chart along with you. I would like to have you put it in front of you and hold it up, and we're going to zoom in on it, and you're going to be pointing out some things for the TV audience. So we're just
well, what I'd like to point out, which we were talking about before the show started, is all the planets that are on one side of the zodiac, or one side of our solar system, one side of the sun, which are these planets here in Pisces, Neptune, and the asteroid Chiron. They're conjuncting still in Pisces. And then we have this large stellium going on in Aries. So Uranus is not just the only one that's in there. We have quite a few others right now. So this energy is pretty intense, even though the sun has moved into Taurus. Now on the other side of the zodiac, we have Saturn, kind of balancing all these planets on one side. In chart shaping, this is called a bucket setup, where we have all the planets on one side of the zodiac, starting with Pluto and Capricorn, going all the way to the sun in Taurus. At least that's right now. And Saturn is balancing. The energy of Saturn is balancing these planets on the other side. So when people have that in their birth chart, that's what's going on in their life. One planet seems to be balancing all the other planets on the other side of the chart. So that's an interesting configuration. On my radio show, I've been talking quite a bit about this stellium going on one side of the chart.
Okay, let's go into Neptune. It's gone transit into Pisces. That means that Neptune has actually moved in the sign of Pisces. This happened April the 4th. I felt it right away because I'm a Piscean. In fact, I felt like I was going goofy. Okay. Okay. The last time that Neptune was in Pisces was in the 1800s. Has a very long cycle. I think it's 15 years. Now, I ask you some questions about Neptune, but to start, so you understand where we're coming from, what are the most interesting facts about the sign of Pisces to start with?
Well, what I mentioned earlier was that it's the last sign of the zodiac before we go back to the other side. So we've experienced all the signs through the zodiac, starting with Aries and ending with Pisces. It's ruled by the planet of Neptune. So we have Neptune moving into the sign that rules Neptune. So we have a double dose of Neptune energy going on.
I felt it.
And it usually stays in a sign for 13, 14, sometimes 15 years. So it takes 165 years to go around the entire zodiac. So most of us won't be alive the next time
I know
Neptune comes back into Pisces again. And it was in Pisces last in the mid-1800s. And that's when we had a lot of cultural change. We have a lot of art, a lot of the musicians and artists of our time that we appreciate now happened the last time Neptune was in Pisces. So we're going to have a resurgence of that in the next 14 years. Now we're getting a taste of Neptune right now. It's going to go retrograde in August, like August 5th, and then it's going to go back into the sign previous, which is Aquarius, until about February 3rd, and then it'll go back into Pisces for good until about 2025, I think, or 2025, yes. That's how long it'll be there. So we're going to be seeing a lot of romance. See, when Neptune was at Aquarius, that's when the whole dating on the internet began. Now Neptune has moved into Pisces. We're actually going to go back to old-fashioned type of romance. Actually meeting in person and having real dates, not internet dates or cyber dates.
Wonderful.
So it's going to be a very interesting time. The veils will be not as, the walls from our side to the other side won't be they're as strong as they have been, because Neptune likes to transcend, it likes to blend. The one thing I do want to mention as a warning is to be careful of wearing rose-colored glasses. Because even for people who have planets in Neptune, you say your sun is there, you have to be careful of rose-colored glasses where you're not seeing reality as it really is.
Right.
So with Neptune in Pisces, all of us are receiving this energy, this cosmic energy. So we all have to be careful of that. Get your feet planted, have a good foundation, and see things as they really are, and not to make them better than they really are. That's the other little warning I'd like to give.
What are the most interesting facts about the planet Neptune?
Well, Neptune is a very spiritual planet. It obviously rules Pisces, and it brings in this feeling of being connected to the higher self, to the other side. It encourages our psychic abilities, our intuition. So during this transit of 14 years we're going to have this here, a lot of us will be able to develop this. We all are capable of it. So this is our time to develop these abilities and use it in your everyday life, your intuition, your psychic abilities, using that sixth sense. We're all very aware of our five senses, but let's start using the sixth sense and our third eye a little bit more at this time. That's what I'd like to share with everybody.
What is the cosmic energy created from the planet of Neptune transiting into the sign of Pisces?
Well, like I had just said, this is the type of energy we're getting. I would suggest that our dreams are going to be more vivid, potent. People can start keeping dream journals, getting a lot of information from their higher self, from guides, from the other side at this time. For those of you who don't keep a dream journal, start one. Have a little pad next to your bed. Start jotting down things that you're getting from your dreams, because this is going to be very helpful. In regards to Neptune in general, we're going to see more in the movie industry and this type of photography and movies, because really in the mid-1850s is when photography started, the last time Neptune was in Pisces. So we're going to see an expansion here, and more than just 3D movies or HD television. It's going to be where we're living in holograms. Things are going to advance technically in this area so much it's going to surprise us. So be ready for what's coming.
Okay, then what should be expected from this cosmic energy? What follows there?
Well, what I'd like to touch upon is for those who have planets in Neptune, planets in Pisces ruled by Neptune, and planets in Virgo, the opposite sign. You're going to be hit heavy with this energy of Neptune being in Pisces, as well as the signs of Sagittarius and Gemini, because these two signs square Pisces. And squares are an aspect that create things that happen in your outside world life. So we're all going to be feeling this. Earlier in the show I mentioned the trines, the signs that trine Pisces would be the other water signs of Cancer and Scorpio. So this is going to be flowing energy. The energy of Neptune in Pisces is going to flow to those of you who have planets in Cancer, planets in Scorpio, or say you have your rising sign there, your descendant, or your nodes. You're going to feel this more than other people. But definitely be aware of the blending into other people's spaces and watching boundaries. Neptune energy has everything blending so well in the sign of Pisces. It's one of the signs that I watch for boundary issues. People crossing other boundaries or other people crossing into yours. So we have to watch that as well with Neptune in Pisces at this time and for the next 14 years as well.
Well, then who does this affect the most? Now, does it affect you being a Virgo?
Well, being a Virgo, yes. The Neptune in Pisces is going to affect me. My sun is in Virgo. I also have Pluto in Virgo. And what I'm going to find in my life is more creativity. In fact, I'm already feeling that and doing that with my radio show, the YouTube videos. I was feeling that coming into this. And anything that I do from now to August is going to give me an insight, as well as everyone else out there, on what's going to happen when it goes in for good next February. That's when it goes into Pisces for good and stays for the next 14 years.
Okay. Well, I want to tell the listeners that if you would like to contact Linda for more information, you need to write down the phone number given at the end of the show. And you can look in the phone book for my name, or else you could call me that way. I can't give you my telephone number. I can't give you Linda's telephone number or email or any of that. But you can go call the phone number giving at the very end of the show. That's the number for the First Parish Church. They will relay and give me your phone number so I can call Linda, so you can find out more about this. We have just 1 minute left here. What do you think is going to happen worldwide having to do with Neptune? Or maybe you would rather just have 1 minute to talk about all these planets on one side of the sun?
Well, we have Saturn involved right now, and we have Pluto. Pluto is squaring these planets. I can bring up the chart again here and point out Pluto down here in Capricorn in this particular chart. This is the transit chart for today, by the way, squaring the stellium in Aries. So the last time we had Uranus in Aries. Pluto was actually conjuncting it. So now we have it squaring. So we have this strong aspect being made. Pluto is the planet that makes us do our karma. It's very powerful. Atomic energy it's related to.
That's
Nuclear atomic energy.
That's for our whole world.
So it's not a surprise that we're having our nuclear power issues right now from this type of energy from Uranus and Pluto squaring. Yes, that's an important thing to bring up at this time.
Well, that's part of the whole picture, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It definitely is.
All right. Well, I want to thank our audience for watching. I want to thank very much all the other persons besides myself and Linda, our crew, that has made this show possible. So keep watching, and please call us. And we're the Angels Church, where angels come, and so can you. Visit the church too. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.